is seeing someone like Ezel Vickers, one of my clients who I met in prison, who I went to the prison and spoke to, who got out and actually has been out for 3 years doing it, okay? Building his business and getting married and building his credit and buying homes plural, buying vehicles. To me, that is success. Seeing that those seeds that I planted or watered, that God gave the increase, and now this man will never go back to prison, will never see the inside of a prison wall because somebody invested in him, you know? So to me, that's success. It's not about me as an individual, but it's like looking over the lives and the seeds that have been planted and watered and seeing the increase. Like, he just posted something on Facebook. I follow him. He gives me joy every time he posts something. I don't care what he's doing. I'm like, yes, let's go. So that's success for me.
So do you guys see how excited she gets about the success of others in our community? That's what this is about. That's why this is a series. So it's the last Thursday of every month. We're having masterminds. The first Tuesday of every month, we're hosting these action and accountability sessions. Future action and accountability sessions might look a little different. We kind of wanted to introduce the idea. We are going to create a space for us to have breakout sessions. They'll be more intentional. Next time, each of these individuals that are on the panel have a room, and others have a space for those of you who want to stay over and to go into some breakout rooms and actually have conversations about what you want to do, stating your goals, finding out any information you need to get there, and then allowing them to be a part of your community to help you get over the finish line. That's what success looks like to me. That's about us staying connected, showing up. We're going to show up, right, for each other. So this next person that came on, Miss Candice Dixon, is actually our Vice President of Finance for the Seattle chapter of the National Black MBA Association. And then behind the flyer for achieving success is John Chin. So John, I know you like to be behind the scenes, but I'm going to ask you to put down the flyer. Thank you. Because what success looks like to me is it's all of you. There's so many other faces we're going to be bringing in. So this, y'all know I like to just work the room, right? So John is the magic behind this just working, right? Doing online meetings. He actually wrote the book on engaging online meetings. Go ahead and put the link in the chat, John. Thank you very much. But you're about community too. And it's not Black community, it's community. It's about all of us. So we're going to have you think about your why, John. But Miss Candice, when I first met you, I met you at a Table 100 meeting, another organization that I love. And when I met you, you were talking about community. You said you were an accountant, and I'm like, oh, yes, we the community need an accountant. We need an accountant. I said for Black MBA, but I was like, there's so many other businesses that need you. And you actually said something to me about community that just melted my heart. Why is it so important? This is kind of, in your mind, what we do, what we supposed to do.
Yeah, I think it was Taj that he put in the chat, he mentioned impact. So when I think about my life and I think about the mission and the reason why I got into business is to make an impact. I've had, like most people, several jobs in different industries and things like that. And I always felt like my impact here is not strong enough. It's not making a difference in my community or in the communities of people that are in need. And when I started my business, that was my purpose, to use my skills and talents to make an impact. So I sought out to be involved in community organizations and to connect with the Black MBA to make sure that if there is a professional accountant that's needed in our community, I am at the table. I am here. I'm willing to work with each and every one of us, but to build those sound financial principles that we need to sustain our businesses, our families, and any organization structure that we become involved in.
I love that. So I'm asking everyone to type in the chat, what is your definition of success? What is your definition of success? John, I'm going to ask you to come back on and tell us a little bit about a combination. What is your why and what does success look like for you? I know John ain't going nowhere because he's, I'm like, he's right.
Thank you so much, Tracy, for the opportunity here too. And just to show you some of the behind the scenes here, I have real 3 key reasons about what I do. I have been lucky enough that I've been on virtual meetings now for over 35 years. And I have 3 key goals when I run a virtual meeting like this. And number 1 is reduce suffering, right? There's plenty of us who have suffered through a not well-run virtual meeting. And that's really passionate around that. Number 2, education, right? We need to educate, right? Like what Jennifer says, right? If we're getting 0.9%, we need to educate ourselves on how can we get, right, the other 99.1% and make it into the places that we need to be. And then the last one is elevate. Is really, I look forward to the opportunity where we can elevate voices and elevate, especially BIPOC voices that haven't been heard enough. So with that, I'll bring it back to the amazing voice of the one and only.
Thank you so much. So back to our community. If you guys look at this flyer, we have Joe Handy, our national president. We'll hear from him a little bit later on. We also have Ezel's Chicken co-founder, Louis Rudd. And we have a video of him when I interviewed him, and we were talking about success. And we were also talking about really this idea of community. And here is what Louis Rudd had to say. And I love this.
Well, I would share what I've learned over these last few decades, right? Of being in business and in the business of life. And, one thing that I talk to young people about today, recently I was at Ballard High School and I was talking to a group of students, and the information that I shared started with life. You should treat your life and the relationships, all relationships in your life as a business, an investment. You always want a return on that investment. Time is our most valuable asset, resource, and we want to manage it wisely. And if you're spending your time, it should be in a way that you expect a return on that investment, right? And I always talk about leading with love. And putting a little love in the situation and in the occasion, adding love, always. Love is a great investment. One of the greatest returns yielded will always be when love was invested. And you have to love yourself first in order to share love with others. You have to love what you're doing. A lot of times, and I'm only repeating what I've heard, but I'm also testifying to what I know because I've experienced it. Right? A lot of times people do things for money, or they do things because they want other people to be happy. But it starts with you being happy first. It's hard to add value when you don't have value, right? It's difficult to share joy when you don't have joy within. It's difficult to love when you are not loving yourself. How can you love others when you don't love you? So you take those same principles into your business with you. Relationships are very difficult, right? And it starts with a commitment, whether it's a relationship with a sibling, a relationship with a parent, a relationship with a girlfriend, a spouse. It starts with a commitment. The relationship fails to exist when the commitment is no longer there. The business is the same way. There should be a commitment to be successful.
You love that. Basically, what Louis was able to say is it's about community, right? It really is about community, and it's about a commitment to an intentional commitment to being successful. So the next question I'm asking, basically for each person to document in the chat, and just so that you're clear, if you're documenting something, you could be in our next book and our next video series, because we're not just doing this for those who are able to make the call today. Our Leaders of Tomorrow program and our work intentionally is around creating clarity around achieving success in business. When I was growing up, I didn't have a whole lot of Black people or diverse individuals that could talk to me about what it meant to achieve success in business until I met someone at the National Black MBA Association in college. And then I was like, oh, okay, Oh, okay. I mean, lots of great information came out of that partnership, and that's why I've had a lifelong experience with that organization. So we're going to make sure that everyone around the country, everyone around the world, wherever they are, that our voices are elevated. That these words around success, right? So if you want your voice to be a part of this book, feel free to document what does success look like to you. The second question, or the next question, is going to be around what would you say to your younger self? If you could go back and talk to your 16-year-old self for just 60 seconds, what would be that one thing that you would say to yourself around achieving success in business and in life? And I know Taj also loved this question. Taj, what would you say to your younger self?
Oh God, if I would even listen to myself. God, I was really hard-headed. Taj was off the chain.
I like when Taj talks about Taj.
I was really, growing up in, certain environments, you adapt and you conform to, your surroundings, and you're always in protection mode, and you know what I mean? So I wasn't horrible. I was just a little closed off and, very guarded. I would probably tell myself to be open and flexible. Coming from, the hood. And having to watch your back 24/7. Like some of us grew up there, and we know we got to go home. We got to lock every window and lock every door and look under the beds and the closets, making sure nobody in the house. All those, just being free, you know what I mean? Being flexible, being open, and receptive to advice. I didn't listen to anybody growing up. I didn't trust anybody. So that's the advice I would give myself. I do all those things now, but if I would have had it when I was younger, probably be at a different space of life. But I'm glad to be where I am now. I worked really hard to get here.
I love that. Thank you. So we're going to ask the same question to Tara. I know that was one question, Tara, that you said you found quite interesting. That I'm also going to bring on Candice. I think she said she wanted to answer this question too. What would you tell your younger self? Rachel, were you interested? Raise your hand if you're part of my panel, people. So John knows if I ask a question and you want to answer it, just raise your hand and John will work the background for me. So Miss Tara, what were your thoughts about that same question? What would you tell your 16-year-old self? And everyone in the chat, put it in the chat. These are lessons learned that we're going to share with our leaders of tomorrow. It's going to be included in the book, right? We'll give you credit. We're not taking your information. This is about generational wealth of knowledge. We have everything we need to be successful as a community. Thank you, Miss Tara. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was excited to answer this question because I have learned a lot in my growing up years through putting myself through a bachelor's degree and master's degree and serving in public service for almost 20 years. I would tell myself to expect all those plans I made to just fail, because I'm a planner and I plan everything to the nth degree. And it rarely works out the way I try to control it and plan it to do, but it works out, right, for the best and in the way that it was supposed to. And because things don't work out the way you plan, I would tell myself to never say never, because I did that and I learned the hard way. You don't always get things the way you plan them, but you get what you need in the end. And I never thought I would be where I am doing necessarily what I am right now in Washington, having lived my entire life in South Florida, but here I am. So never say never.
All right now. I love that. So the next person is Miss Candice Dixon. What would you say to your 16-year-old self? What words of advice would you share related to achieving success in business and in life?
I would tell little Candice to invest in herself, right? When Ezel's the video with Ezel's chicken, and he talked about relationships are like business. So your life, your whole life, your relationship to yourself really is a business. And guess what? We're all CEOs of those companies. We are at the very, very top. So when we start talking about, okay, what do you need as a CEO? You need investment in self. Invest in your education, your mind. That's the very first thing that we want to covet because it's so important when we're making decisions. Invest in our appearance. We want to look good. When we look good, we feel good, right? Invest in that social network. Invest in people. Tracy, Jennifer Ness, Linda Woman, invest in the people and the relationships that you have because they're very valuable to you. And remember, you're chief officer. So you need all of these things to make your situation and your business, your life work.
I love it. I love it. Now for our next question, we're going to bring on, we're going to keep you here, Candice. We're going to bring on Tara and Taj. I know you all actually expressed an interest in answering a question. And Jennifer Ness, if you want to answer this, you can as well. Oh no, this was your number one. So bring Jennifer Ness back on. We were going to talk about one thing that stops people from achieving success or from just living out their dreams is this idea of challenges, roadblocks, and hard times. You know, during our last session, we actually had the author of a book. We had the Roy Clay Sr., the Clays, not the Roys, the Clays. Roy Clay Sr. and his sons come on. He wrote a book called Unstoppable. We also had Shelley Archambault join us, who wrote a book called Unapologetically Ambitious. That was the mastermind. If you missed it, you need to go, check it out, right? We're going to make sure it's all available on our YouTube channel. The replays are available on my LinkedIn. You can look up Tracy Harrell. It's there. It was amazing. And so they were talking about a lifetime of challenges. So I'm going to ask each of you, what would you share as one obstacle that you've overcome? And then what advice would you give to others about the importance of having what I would like to call an unstoppable mindset? And I'm going to start with Jennifer Ness.
One of my biggest challenges was other people's opinions. Once I got delivered, truly delivered from other people's opinions, and life for me just opened up. I think growing up and being a young person, you're always told what you shouldn't do, what you can't do, what box to stay into. And as I became an adult, and it took me a long time. I'm not saying as soon as I got into adulthood. It was actually after I got divorced, because I cared so much about other people's opinions. And I think getting divorced was like that stigma of failure. For me, anyways, I don't know about anybody else. For me, it was like, oh my goodness, my marriage failed. That means I'm failing. And I realized I cared too much. And then once I said, forget everybody's opinions, I was like, baby, I'm living now. I don't care what none of y'all think, okay? And as a result of that, like, I'm living out loud. I'm living proud. I'm living unapologetically. I am so unequivocally who I am. But it took me a long time to get here. And that was a challenge for me. So as long as I'm pleasing to God, because that's who I truly serve, as long as I'm pleasing in his sight, I don't care about what none of y'all think. So that was my deliverance.
I love that. You got a lot of amens in the corner. In the chat over here. I'm checking it out. They're loving that. I love it. Tara, same question for you. Name an obstacle that you've overcome and get serious. So you're being very professional. You're being very like, I'm gonna try to break the shell right now because I know your heart. You're a Florida girl, right? You're not just doing this because of the master's degree in public administration. That's awesome. But you're like committed to this work. Show a little bit of your heart and tell us a little bit about a challenge that you've overcome and how we can all overcome challenges. Whatever you learn, just break it down for us.
Well, thanks for making me follow Jennifer Ness's very inspirational speech because I need to work on that. Not caring what people think so much, but mine is along the same lines. When I think about the power of our own mindset, right? And you decided, Jennifer Ness, like you're not worried about what anybody thinks anymore. That was like a mindset that you established that changed your whole perspective. And that's what your mindset can do. You can let your mind go off in a million tangents about all the things that you worry about. I remember a time when I couldn't pay my rent. And just saying that makes me full of anxiety in my chest. So I can go down that tangent of all the things that were so hard and all the things that are challenges. But when you shift your mindset to what you can do about those things, and the student loans you can find to put yourself through school that I'm still paying for, you do whatever it takes with a mindset that says you can and believes in yourself. So that mindset can be such a powerful thing. If you acknowledge and are aware that your mind can sometimes take you down the wrong path, and it has for me many times, changing and taking control of that mindset really can change your entire destiny, as Yogananda said.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Anyone else burning to answer this question? Candice or Rachel? Yes, Taj, please.
What Tara said, what Jennifer Ness said, it resonates with me as well. That divorce comment that Jennifer Ness made, literally, I'm like, some people don't realize that, I was in a relationship, I was engaged, it didn't work out. It was hurtful. But that morning when you wake up and you're over it and you're done, you are a totally different person. It's like you got yourself back and yourself back again. And you walk in this new power. You're like, wait a minute, I forgot who I was. I forgot what I'm capable of. So hearing, listen, I love it. But for me, it was being in my own way, not utilizing resources. I'm the oldest of my siblings. Everyone, all in my family, friends, everybody always comes to me for everything. Taj, can I get help with this? Taj, do you know this? Taj, do you know that? And I don't go to people and ask them for things. I didn't know how to. I was taught to know, just from my upbringing, to know everything and lead and guide everybody. So just not knowing what's available and resources that are available to me. I tell my nieces and nephews right now, you're spending all this time on Instagram and Facebook. What are you getting out of that? And I'll tell them, when I'm on Instagram, I'm following people who train so that I can save some of their shoulder workouts, so I can implement that, so I can, get my shoulders together, or a leg routine, or a recipe to cook, or, I'm saving those things. I'm not just on here scrolling and laughing, and, I'm utilizing resources everywhere I go, and what we have available right now on YouTube and everywhere. Take advantage of those things. If you don't know something, go do the research.
I love it. And so we have, I cannot believe we only have 15 minutes left in this main session. We are going to create a space where we can create breakout rooms. Candice and her partner, Stacy, are actually here to actually move into a space. If you have any questions around accounting, Tara's here with one of my favorite people, Shayna Barehand, who will, and others, who will actually create a space. If anyone is interested in actually doing business with a state or government agency. And let me just be clear, how many billions of dollars are you guys managing?
1.2 billion in goods and services alone a year. And there's more.
How much of that is going to Black-owned businesses?
I knew it was going.
Yeah, you already know the answer to that question.
Right. And we have to
not enough.
So y'all, let me be clear. The reason Tara is here, that's why I'm like, you guys are not seeing her heart today, but she is committed to actually stay with us, right? As a part of this series. They're helping to sponsor this series and this work. She's not just showing up, right? Saying, hey, there's money over there. She said that she's bringing her team of individuals to show up each month. They're going to tell you how to get the money, what is happening, what goods and services are actually being provided by DES if it aligns with what you're doing and what you need to do to move along the process. They also have PTAC, and there's OWMBE is here. We can bring her on board. Orlando is one of my favorite people as well. We can have her. We'll bring them on another time. There's so much we want to cover. So I don't want to shortchange anyone here, but just no. One of the things we're going to do is make sure that as many of you as possible are OMWBE certified. So I'm going to be reaching out to Linda Womack and her team so that those of you who may have thought about it but don't know what to do, this is going to be a place where you can come and people will be here to help you through the process. Taj actually wanted to talk. So we're going to go a little bit into this conversation for each of you who have something to specifically provide in the area of helping an individual or an organization to achieve success. Again, either in business or in life. So I'm going to ask people in the chat, if you want to do some online networking, please go ahead and put your contact information here. If you're an entrepreneur, we had over 100, nearly 150 people register in less than a week for this particular initiative. This was after we just did a mastermind on Thursday. Today's Tuesday, guys. So know that what this is going to be is intentionally, you learn the thing on a Thursday, or you already got something that's in play, and then you're going to come here and have resources. I'm also the D&I lead for SCORE. SCORE is a part of SBA. They're free business mentors with expertise in a number of different topics. They're also going to create spaces for you. I teach a class around business planning. I know Stacy is an accountant. She also wants to optimize her business plan. Well, guess what? I'm going to show up in a room and help anyone who wants to actually move their business plan forward. It's really, that is what this series is about. It's about action and accountability, right? There's some other work we're going to do from a D&I perspective. I had a few people reach out to me and say, well, what are you doing about accountability in corporate America? That too, additional series, more to come on that. Trust me on that. So this is about action and accountability, achieving success in business, you as your career, as an entrepreneur, someone who can also bring in a gift to help others. This is about doing this work in community. So I'm going to actually give Ms. Tara an opportunity to tell us just a little bit more about anything she wanted to share about Department of Enterprise Services. Then I'm gonna come back to you, Taj. And then Jennifer, next you're gonna kind of help us take it home. You and Rachel, we're gonna talk about the leaders of tomorrow and how people can engage in that work. So Ms. Tara, tell us a little bit, anything else you wanted to share with us about Department of Enterprise Services?
Well, I put my email and my LinkedIn in the chat because there's a lot that I can say, and I don't want to take up everyone's time to say it. But I will be back. I will be showing up at these accountability sessions because that's important to me. We have a lot of work to do across state governments, and I'm doing my part in showing up to do that. So in DES, we're responsible for about 200 different contracts that are focused on all sorts of different goods and services. Everything from pens and paper and office supplies, to janitorial services, to the rocks that you put in the road to fill potholes, and absolutely everything in between. Forklifts, any good and service you can imagine, the state needs it to some degree. And so we have a spot on our website, which you can find by reaching out to me in my LinkedIn or my email, that gets you started. But we will hold your hand as well. We have a team of people dedicated to helping small, new emerging businesses learn how to walk through the process of certifying with the state. Certification is in a different area of the state. It's not mine, but we encourage and support anyone who needs help through the certification process. On the other side of what I do is all the public works contracting. $6 million a year alone in public works. So that's everything from sidewalks to large capital projects. And there's lots of opportunities there as well that I'd be happy to talk to everybody more about.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to bring back on both Taj and Jennifer Ness at the same time because she's wearing dual hats. So this idea of Black-owned business excellence, tell us a little bit about that and the Seattle Credit Union. So I know there was a link to both, to the Black-owned business excellence and to the resources at the Seattle Credit Union. What's so different about what you guys are doing? Tell us a little bit about your what and how.
You better know we different.
Stop.
You different. We making it different. I will say that DES is one of our supporters. I will say that Seattle Credit Union is one of our supporters. And
executive supporter.
Yeah, executive supporter. Thank you. So what we are doing is we are truly making a difference. I gave you some just one testimony of one client, but for the last 2.5 years, we have been meeting every single Friday. And anybody on this group is welcome to join our meetings. We meet every Friday at 10 a.m. And
we'll put the link in the chat.
We did.
Okay.
But what we talk about the gaps, and we stand in the gap, and we don't just say it, but we do it. So we provide training, we provide support, we provide direct grants to small business. Wait, let me not just say small business, Black-owned small businesses in Washington. And the reason why we're doing that is because we noticed that there's an issue. There's an issue with the dollars funneling to us. There are other businesses and other folks who are getting that money, and they know how to get it, right? And they're on a list, some type of list that we're not even aware of, where they get access to it every time it come around. But for some reason, we don't even know what's going on, okay? So what we want to do is we want to close the gap, and we want people to understand that it's about being connected to the resources like the Minority Business Development Agency. Those folks, they're putting on classes. If you're not in those classes, that's a problem, because they're showing you, they're giving you the keys to the kingdom. They're giving you the keys and helping you walk through and saying, oh, you want to become certified to do business with the state, you want to become a minority-owned business, women-owned business, you want to become a disadvantaged business, let us help you. So Orlando just put it in the chat. April 14th is their next class. They're walking you through the steps. So this is how we get that 0.9% number to be higher, by becoming certified, by doing those things. And so that's what BOBE is doing. BOBE is Black-owned business excellence. So BOBE for short, BOBE.
And what I'm so proud of is we brought Jenna Finesse in because, again, National Black MBA Association is a nonprofit organization, right? Our goal is to people just do what they do. So she's all passionate around entrepreneurs. And I'm like, great, right? We don't need to create a new organization, or we need to support work that's happening with Black-owned business excellence and organizations like it. We're bringing in and hosting training as well, right? This is what we've been doing for 52 years, right? Black MBA is all about professional development, entrepreneurship. This year, there's a scale up pitch competition we've done for several years now. There's a $50,000 grand prize for entrepreneurs to just talk about their business, to pitch their business. There's a $25,000 grand prize for a collegiate scale up pitch competition for entrepreneurs. And we're creating an entire training initiative around that work. So I could not be more proud to be a part of Black MBA. There's more to share than we actually have time to share. But I do want to give Taj an opportunity to talk a little bit about these, because money, right? We always need resources, right? And we're going to bring others in. But Taj, tell us a little bit, just briefly, and maybe put the link in the chat too, where they can find information about the Seattle Credit Union's special programming that is helping Black businesses achieve success.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Tracy. One thing also, BOBE in the house. I work with Jenna Finesse at Black-owned Business Excellence as well. But Seattle Credit Union is a not-for-profit institution that is definitely for the culture. Seattle Credit Union is not like other institutions in Washington State. Seattle Credit Union's CEO listens to what the needs are in our communities. We have products and services that we're reformulating purposely for those who are underserved and historically marginalized. We understand that Black and brown people were not taught credit. We understand that Black and brown people were not taught financial literacy. We have these things that we are creating. Some of them have already been in place. We're reformulating these things and repackaging them. And we're making lending more attainable to those who need it most. We're tired of seeing the racial wealth gap. We want to do something about it. And Seattle Credit Union is doing that.
I love it.
I don't know any other financial institution that's doing what we're doing.
I love it. I love it.
Not one. So we're not just talking out here. We're not playing. We're actually doing the work.
You heard
We
what he
ain't
said.
playing.
I was just going to say he ain't playing.
Not at all. No.
I love that. I love that. So one thing I did want to do, and we're going to actually end on time and then create a breakout room for anyone who wants to stay and actually move into that. John, we're not going to push anyone into a breakout room. We're going to continue this space. We're going to officially end on time and continue to have conversation. If anyone wants to go into a breakout room, just identify in the chat. I'd like to break out. I'd like to break out with, just put the word breakout, Taj, or breakout Tara, or breakout Jennifer Ness. Those are your three options, and then breakout Candice, because Candice is an accountant. Those are your 4 options today. If you can write that in, breakout with Taj. He's going to talk about Seattle Credit Union, Black-owned business excellence. Jennifer Ness is going to tell you a little bit more about our leaders of tomorrow. And I got 2 quick videos that I actually want to bring up. And then Tara for Department of Enterprise Services, Taj again for Seattle Credit Union, Candice for business accounting, Candice and Stacy, and then Jennifer Ness for leaders of tomorrow. So again, we're going to stay together till we get to the couple videos, then we're going to come back and do some closing remarks. So I did want to share, thank you. These are your breakout options. Oh no, we got to bring Tara back in. Tara's a breakout too. Tara and Shayna. So just bring Tara in. Thank you. So we're going to share a video from, again, we started with Joe Handy, and we also started with a great video from Lewis Rudd. And so the other video from Lewis Rudd is what we're about to share right now. And what Lewis talks about is community.
One of the key words you just shared there was community. And right now I reflect back on our 25th anniversary. And I quite often reflect on that because the theme was, as it takes a village to raise a kid, it takes a community to raise a business. And without the community mentoring me and my family in the business, we wouldn't be here today, right? There were professionals in the industry that took time to say, come on, Lewis, let me treat you to dinner and let me talk to you. Let me listen to you. Let me share with you, and I find myself doing the same thing because of the importance of it. Young people in business or older people, mature people that are just starting in business, helping them to understand the challenges, right? And what it's going to take to overcome those challenges. And I go back to that word commitment. And habits. Habits are hard to break, good or bad, right? And understanding how your habits affect your business, affect your life, affect others around you is so important. And it could be for younger people, the time to start developing good habits, great habits that will add value in those relationships. And then for some of the older, mature ones, it's identifying those habits that are not adding value, but are detracting, that are not helping you succeed, but are, getting in the way of your success. And sometimes it takes that village to say, hey, boy, you better get in line. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Sometimes, the parents don't see you act out, but it's the neighbors that see. And they can put you in line. You know what I'm saying? Help to. And so in the business community, there just need to be more business owners that are successful, willing to step up and be part of that village to help others that are coming through and help them get you can call it a mentor, you can call it a counselor, you can call it an advisor, whatever you choose to call it, but sharing wisdom.
That's it.
Right? Sharing wisdom. Don't go bury those talents. It's been written in the scriptures about, what happens when you bury the talents. But anyway, so I've been blessed in many ways, and I just continually pass that on and be a blessing to others. And I think that, that's a message that would be well received in the community. More hear it, more respond to it. Let's be mentors. Let's share our secrets to success. let's not keep them as secrets.
It's in the title. It's Our Leaders of Tomorrow. So we're celebrating almost 3 decades of investing in our youth, investing in our community, and we're seeing the fruits of that labor bear. Because our Leaders of Tomorrow, we have had individuals that have participated in our conference coming out of high school that are now seasoned within their careers and now are in a position where they can give back. So Leaders of Tomorrow, once again, is allowing for companies to illustrate their brand, be in the trenches with us, identify individuals that they are looking to solicit to bring their skills and talents to a company to advance and grow. And then we're shaping our youth to look at ways where they can be contributors to their family and make a career and be in a position where they can get back.
You love that. What I love about those two individuals, you can go ahead and bring back our illustrious panel of amazing individuals. Bring on Candice, bring on Bernard, bring on, I think Rachel had to drop. So bring on everyone if you don't mind. What I wanted to do is officially close, because we do know how to end on time. We do. But we call this the afterflow. You ever had such a good time and you're like, I just need a little bit more? I'm not quite done yet. So we are officially ending this this first session, this first action and accountability session, but we have resources for you. So if you want to go into a breakout, put that in there. John will match you up or move people into the appropriate breakouts. We're also going to just continue a little bit, a few more minutes of afterflow. If there's someone who you know who I've called you to be on this meeting and you want to speak, raise your hand and we're going to have John bring you in and you can answer any of the prior questions, because we are locking people in as a part of this video and this book series. So just let me know does anyone raise your hand right now? We're going to do it one by one. Does anyone want to go into the room with Tara and Department of Enterprise Services? We'll be a little bit orderly about this. Tara and Department of Enterprise Services to learn more about businesses. And this is our first session. Next time, we're going to make sure we email people in advance and give you an opportunity to get a little deeper.
Tara or Tracy, let me do this favor. Why don't we go ahead and close out the live stream, and then I'll actually give you the breakout room instructions, okay?
So we are officially, we actually didn't want to close out the live stream. Can you not do breakout and live stream at the same time? I was going to get some more voices.
I think so if people have the ability to talk, I think we would like to end the live stream so that we can have those conversations and have them amongst ourselves. So if you don't mind, Tracy.
You're the producer. Produce by all means. Thank you guys for joining us for achieving success in business.
Are we going into the breakout rooms or are we staying here? What are we doing?
We're going to close out the live stream, Jennifer Ness, and then I will help open the breakout rooms. Okay, Jennifer Ness?
All right.
Okay, Tracy, again, can you give one closing message and say goodbye to our live stream audience? Thank you.
Thank you guys for joining us. This is Tracy Harrell. It's bigger than me, but together it's not bigger than us. We got this. We have everything we need to achieve success in business and in life. Stay with us. We'll see you the third Thursday of every month for a mastermind and the first Tuesday of every month for an action and accountability session. We know what success looks like.